Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Cam. First up, we're in Kissimmee, Florida, for a double murder trial. The defendant, Jason Clare, is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and aggravated assault with a firearm. Outside this bar, Clare shot and killed 2 brothers, James and Joel Kuhn, after they had apparently beat him up. He claims he was acting in self-defense, citing Florida's Stand Your Ground law. But now during the trial, it's the families who are fighting. After a hearing was canceled, friends and family of the victims and the defendant find themselves in close quarters. The man speaking is the defendant's stepfather, James Zeke Parker. He appears to be addressing the man in the green shirt, James Kuhn Sr., the father of the murdered brothers. The man trying to push Parker back is a friend of the victims, Jeremy Millian. Millian takes the first swing, and it's the only one he'll get in. The defendant's stepfather counters with a right overhand and sends him, a bystander, and even a police detective to the ground. After mowing a path through the crowd, the defendant's stepfather squares up with the father of the victims. An officer pulls out his taser. After a flurry of punches, they tumble to the ground before being separated by officers. All 3 men were arrested.
Sorry, he hit me. He hit me when I was supposed to hit me. Just like your son, double team me. We've seen 3 of them there double team.
With Jeremy Millian leaving on a stretcher with an injured jaw. Each man was taken to jail and charged with what's called a fray. They were also banned from attending all future trial proceedings. As for the defendant, Jason Clare, he was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm and 1 count, assault with a firearm, and was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
David Hall.
Next, we go to a bond hearing in Broward County. A sovereign citizen who basically believes that certain laws don't apply to him.
Hall has declined the services of the public defender, Your Honor.
Hall is here for driving under the influence and driving with a suspended license.
Mr. Hall, DUI, expired driver's license.
Judge.
As soon as the judge attempts to read the charges, Hall begins interrupting.
Sir, I haven't said for the court how I'm appearing today,
Well,
sir.
I'm not asking you yet. Just give me a moment, all right? I need to look at your record.
Turns out Hall is currently out on bond for 2 previous charges of driving with a suspended license. But that's not going to stop him from trying to make his case.
Sir, today I'm appearing as the agent and settler for David Hall.
Okay. Could you get Mr. Hall for me then, sir? Where is he?
I go by that name, sir. My name sounds exactly like the defendant's, and I'm here to settle that matter today.
So are you and David Hall one and the same person?
I'm not a person, I'm an individual. David Hall is a person. I am a private individual.
Hall's legalese is unconventional, to say the least, but the judge allows him to continue.
May I say something else for the record, sir?
Go ahead, sir.
I appear here today as the settler, agent, not the person, but the individual. And I don't think I should have you understand the
So you're
difference
the
between a person
settler,
and an
the
individual.
agent, and you're the individual, but you're not the person. Is that correct?
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
I'm going to write that down.
Judge Hurley is unfazed by Hall's attempt at a Jedi mind trick and begins to turn the tables.
Here's what we're going to do. The settler, the agent, the individual, and maybe even the person, David Hall, has been charged with DUI. So today, the court's going to set the settler, the agent, the individual's bond, and even the person's bond today at $10,000 because the settler, the agent, the individual, and the person continues to drive without a driver's license.
Hall's new bond is $10,000, but because this charge is a violation of his original bond, all versions of David Hall must remain in jail unless he can come up with the cash.
Both cases will cause the settler, the agent, the individual, and even the person, David Hall, not to be able to be released from the Broward County Jail until further notice of the court. So,
May I post bond, sir?
Now it's Judge Hurley's turn to have some fun.
well,
Is there any
are
other-
you asking me as the settler, the agent, the individual, or are you asking me as the person?
Sir, I'm asking, as the individual appearing before you today, the
Wait, who are you
opportunity...
speaking on behalf of right now?
Sir, I don't understand that question. I believe that you're trying to confuse me now. I'm not the person, sir.
Okay,
I am
see
not
the
the
person,
person.
David Hall. Tell him he's not leaving jail either, all right? Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Come on. Down the middle. Let's roll.
False allegations made against the police officer. So.
Next, we're in family court in Las Vegas, Nevada. 26-year-old Monica Contreras is here to vacate a temporary restraining order filed against her by her estranged husband. The routine hearing lasts just a few minutes, and Contreras' 2-year-old daughter joins her just off camera.
So I'm just going to close the case out and dissolve the order.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
But before Contreras is able to leave, Courtroom Marshal Ron Fox takes her to another room to perform a drug search, while her daughter plays with hearing master Patricia Doninger on the bench. Moments later, Contreras is back in the courtroom, but there's a problem. She begins telling the other courtroom marshal that she wasn't comfortable with how the drug search was performed.
He will that.
Yeah.
Can I just have you pull up your shirt and show me that there's no drugs in it?
Still searching Contreras' purse, Marshal Fox doesn't like what he's hearing.
Okay, so storage stands, handcuffs.
Why would
Bring
I
her
be
in.
handcuffed? Why would I be arrested?
Hold
For
on.
what, sir?
Hold on.
Okay, why would I be arrested? Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me?
Because of false allegations made against the police officer. So.
Making a false allegation against a police officer? In this context, that wouldn't even be a crime in Clark County.
For what?
Hearing Master Patricia Doninger turns her back on the situation.
Please tell me. Can you please tell me?
Then, without getting any further explanation of the charges, she asked to have Contreras' daughter removed from the courtroom.
Can we do something with the
Why
little
would I be arrested?
If you could call up Child Haven for me.
Child Haven is the county's child protective services facility. In just a matter of minutes, Contreras went from appearing at a routine court hearing to getting arrested and now having her daughter taken away from her.
You're saying you're not turning around. I will also
Why
have
would I be? Okay, stop. What did I do to anyone? Please.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
I don't want to press charges. I don't want to do anyone. I just wanted to end.
Jimmy, I got court. I still have to do this, so arrest her. I think the kid. We're done.
Why would you do that, sir?
Because you're making
I'm
false
not making
allegations.
false allegations, sir. Why would you put me in this position? I'm a good person. No, I don't want to deal with this, please. I just want to end it. Okay, it was all lies. It was all lies. It was all lies. It was all lies. Let me go.
So
Why would you be
listen,
arrested?
on record, on tape.
And Contreras is going to recant her statement about the marshal's inappropriate handling of the drug search. Or maybe not.
Who's telling you to let Mr. Sanders get him out of here? Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
We're back in Las Vegas, Nevada, where 26-year-old Monica Contreras is being searched by Courtroom Marshal Ron Fox. They just came back from another room where Contreras alleges he searched her inappropriately.
Can I just have you pull up your shirt and show me that there's no drugs in it?
Marshal Fox doesn't like what he's hearing.
Arrest her. I think the kid. We're done.
Why would you do that, sir?
Because you're making
I'm
false
not
allegations.
making false allegations, sir. Why would you put me in this position? I'm a good person. No. That's what happened. You put me in the room and you asked me to lift up my shirt without a witness. You asked me to lift up my shirt without a witness.
As she's handcuffed in front of her young daughter, Contreras singles out hearing master Doninger for seemingly ignoring her pleas for help.
How could you do this to me? How could you what? How could you what?
reportedly charged with providing false information to a police officer and disturbing the peace. Her daughters turned over to special services until the girl's father picked her up later that day. 2 months after the incident, Contreras filed a complaint against Marshall Fox, claiming that in addition to improper protocol, the officer also groped her breast and buttocks during the drug search. An investigation by Clark County Internal Affairs would validate her claims. She was later awarded $200,000 in a court settlement. As for those responsible for the courtroom injustice, the perpetrator, Marshal Ron Fox, was fired immediately following the investigation. Marshal James Kenyon was later relieved of his duties, and hearing master Patricia Doniger was out 2 years later after the video went public. For our next story, we head to Raleigh, North Carolina for the trial of Jonathan Sander.
Specifically planned by him as suggested by the jail phone calls that you've heard in this case, and they are calculated.
Sanders charged with first-degree murder in the killing of his next-door neighbors, Sandy Mazzella, his wife Stephanie, and Mazzella's mother, Elaine.
It's framed. All right, it's the way it is. And justice.
Until things began to unravel a few months before the killing. Sander was accused of sexual misconduct by the Mazzella's 14-year-old daughter. And according to police, it was these allegations motivated Sander to enter the Mazzella home armed with a shotgun and murder the 3 victims. While speaking to police, Sander admitted he was responsible.
I know it was me. I know I did. Whatever happened, I know it was me.
Even with this confession, Sander pleads not guilty, claiming he was set up and that the real killer is Sandy Mazzella's father. And during the trial, Sander wasn't shy about sharing his other opinions regarding the killing.
There was no blood on her. Mr. Sander, please be quiet. It's fact. Mr. Sander, please. Look, Mr. Sander.
And what were her last words?
What everybody else did that's watching us.
Whatever.
No blood under that wound. Mr. Sander, please be... It's my weapon involved. I was framed. Remove him from the courtroom, please.
Yeah.
Throughout the trial, Sander continued to lash out.
And
You're telling me I blasted
Mr. Sander, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Mr. Sander, Mr. Sander, Mr. Sander.
We're back in Raleigh, North Carolina, to learn the fate of accused murderer Jonathan Sander. After a trial lasting several weeks, a jury comes back with a unanimous verdict.
We, the jury, by unanimous verdict, find the defendant, John Frederick Sander, to be guilty of first-degree murder of Sandy Mazzella, guilty of first-degree murder of Stephanie Mazzella, guilty of first-degree murder of Elaine Mazzella.
Sander's convicted on all charges, but he's not done speaking out.
I did shoot Sandy. I barely wounded him. After I left, Sal Mazzella shot and killed his family. Why? For insurance money.
When Sander was finished, it was Superior Court Judge Graham Shirley who had the final word.
I want you to realize if you live out your life expectancy of 25.1 years, that 2-minute period is going to have to repeat itself 6,578,000 times before you take your last breath. And when you take your last breath, you're going to die alone, and you're going to die forgotten.
Jonathan Sander was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. We now head to Collin County Courthouse in McKinney, Texas. The young man set to appear before us, followed by 5 years in foster care. In 2018, he participated in a program called Wednesday's Child, which curates memorable moments for foster children in hopes of finding them a permanent family. Most kids choose to spend the day enjoying entertaining activities. Armani chose a different route. He wanted to spend the day feeding members of the local homeless community. And that's where he met fellow volunteer Lateris Whitfield.
This is where we're going to end up taking to the homeless community.
Whitfield took Armani to Two Podners BBQ, where they picked up chopped beef sandwiches to bring to those in need. Then, something amazing happened.
He said, would they mind if I prayed for him?
I asked Father God that you would just watch over them, protect them, keep them safe.
And that sealed the deal. Instant tears. I was like, okay, God, I see exactly what you're doing, and this is my son.
This is it.
1 year later, surrounded by family and friends and decked out in matching suits,
Congratulations.
Whitfield and Armani officially became father and son. Armani chose to make other lives better, and as a result, his life became better than ever. Laterris Whitfield and Armani Green, thanks for joining us. Armani, take us back to the day when the adoption became official.
When we got there, I was like, wow, this is really about to happen.
And to see this big smile on his face, the whole courtroom was full of people that had been involved in Armani's journey. Armani was in foster care for 5.5 years, so he met a whole lot of people, but the one that was consistent was the judge. And to see the judge shed a tear, because they looked at Armani as being one of those kids that would never get adopted. And to see him standing up there in a suit, a young African-American male of purpose and of substance, really broke me down to tears.
Everybody in that room was crying. It was just amazing.
Armani, when did you find out that this was actually happening?
That's the crazy thing. I actually didn't know any of this was going on. I met him when we fed the homeless, and I was like, okay, that was really powerful. And then I'm just, living my life back at my father's home. And then I think a year later, he actually came to visit me, and we went out to eat. And I was like, hey, what made you want to pick me up? I haven't seen you in a while. He said, I feel like I can, just mentor you and help you on your journey to become who you are. Okay, that's cool. Little did I know that him revisiting me wasn't a coincidence at all. He was actually behind the scenes doing classes, paperwork, check-ins, and all kinds of stuff to actually adopt.
How's your life changed?
Armani teaches me a lot about even my own deficiencies. I'm not the most patient person, and so with Armani, he's teaching me a lot about patience. I raised a daughter, so I'm a #girl dad. So raising a young man is totally different. And so he's teaching me a lot about myself. He's teaching me a lot about patience. He's teaching me a lot about love.
Laterris Whitfield and Armani Green, your story has moved me, and I'm sure everyone who is watching this. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Dan, for having us.
That's all for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.